What up, YouTube? Team Movies here with Fargo season 4 that just premiered this month. With him returning to host SNL tomorrow night, and with The Witches, set to premiere this month. Since all of them, of course, feature funny man Chris Rock, I decided to go ahead and do my top 10 favorite Chris Rock movies. Because the guy's, of course, done like stand-up since like the 80s and 90s and all. He's been some awesome stuff. I mean, who does not love Chris Rock? He is the man. And of course, I cannot wait to see him in the Spire film. That's going to be pretty cool to watch. Anyway, with that being said, here's my 10 favorite Chris Rock films. Alright, coming in at number 10, I'm going to go with the 2005 remake of The Longest Yard. This ended up being the first time Adam Sandler and Chris Rock has ever starred in a film together. Of course, they've been buddies for a while, like for a long time. They were both they, of course, were both on SNL together. So this is like the first time they've ever really fully worked together in something. And the movie is, of course, directed by Peter Segal, who of course, recently gave out, My Spy. He directed Sandler and some other stuff. Now, of course, this film, stars Sandler, and is, of course, a remake of the 1970s film with Burt Reynolds, which Burt Reynolds, of course, appears in this one. Here you got Sandler, who portrays as a disgraced football quarterback named Parker, who ends up landing in jail. And so, like, this warden, played by James Cromwell, pretty much recruits him to coach, to pretty much coach their football team there. You also got, he's also aided by this ex-NFL coach named Nate Scarborough, of course, portrayed by Burt Reynolds, who, like I said, starred in the original. Here you've got Chris Rock, who portrays his cellmate here, and of course, his name is actually Caretaker, so that's an interesting name there. I really always quite liked Sandler and Chris Rock's chemistry in this. You also had Nelly was also in this. You had a couple of wrestlers and real life football players appear in this. I mean, The Longest Yard, I guess it's not as good as the Burt Reynolds classic, but I always got a kick out of the 2005 remake. I thought it was really funny. The football scenes were pretty cool to watch. Burt Reynolds, it was always cool seeing him in instead with Sandler. I mean, Burt Reynolds and Sandler's chemistry was pretty cool to watch. I mean, if you guys have not really seen the 2005 Longest Yard remake, give it a shot. It's actually not as bad as most people make it out to be. Alright, number 9, I'm going to go with Osmosis Jones. Now, this is a animation slash hybrid comedy about this one white blood cell voiced by Chris Rock, who raced against time to really hunt down and destroy a lethal new virus voiced by Lawrence Fishburne. And here you got Bill Murray, who stars as Frank, in whose body and this whole film pretty much takes place in Bill Murray's body. I'll just put it that way. Of course, you got a character named Drax in this, voiced by David Hyde Pierce, and Ozzy and Drax. If that name doesn't sound familiar, because they actually had a spin-off, Simply Titled Ozzy and Drax, which I always got a kick out of the show version of it. But anyway, Chris Rock voicing Blood Cell. That will literally be the only way that you could easily kill the coronavirus, by the way. But that aside, I really enjoyed Osmosis Jones. It's really hilarious. It's a bit dumb, yeah, but I mean, it is part mixed with live action, which the live action element I thought was pretty cool. You had Chris Elliott in there, but the animation stuff I thought was really cool. It had some really solid animation here. I mean, Chris Rock's voiced a character who's pretty much inside Bill Murray's body. All right. But that aside, I really got a kick out of this. If you guys have not really seen Osmosis Jones yet, definitely give it a shot. It is also from the Farrelly brothers, so there's that too. Alright, number 8 is another Adam Sandler movie, and that is Grown Ups. Now, of course, this is about 5 friends who ends up, reuniting once again after their coach, played by the great Blake Clark, ends up passed away. And here you got Chris Rock, who plays the character of Doug McKenzie, who pretty much is mainly a stay-at-home dad. He cooks for his wife and his family. Normally, the wife would be pleased to have a husband like that. Maya Rudolph's wife character is a bit annoying at times. So yeah, but anyway, that aside, Chris Rock was hilarious in this one. And of course, he reprised his role for the sequel, which I didn't mind the sequel so much. But the first Grown Ups is still awesome. I always loved his chemistry with his on-screen kids in this. The husband and wife dynamic chemistry between him and Maya Rudolph was pretty cool. His chemistry with the leads like Adam Sandler, David Spade, Kevin James, and Rob Schneider were all pretty fun to watch. The movie was of course directed by Dennis Dugan. Grown Ups is such an awesome one. If you guys haven't really seen the Grown Ups movies, I'll say give it a shot. I know most people are probably not even going to want to watch this because they're not a fan of Sandler's shtick and all that, but I still got a kick out of it. Number 7, I'm going to go with Head of State. Now, I'm not going to lie, I'm not trying to get political or anything, but the debate this past week kind of reminded me of Head of State in a way. I kind of had a bit of a Head of State feel. Anyway, that's all I'm going to be talking about that one. But Head of State, of course, stars Chris Rock as the Washington, D.C. Public servant, Maze Gilliam, who is thrust into the national spotlight when he's asked by Martin Gallo, played by Dylan Baker, the head of the Democratic Party, to run for president. So you got Chris Rock, who is actually running for president in this. You also got the likes of Bernie Mac is in this. Chris Rock actually directs this film, so he's directed a couple of stuff too as well. But Head of State is a hilarious political comedy. Chris Rock and Bernie Mac, two of the most funniest comics together in this, is pretty fun to watch. I mean, yeah, there has been some pretty good funny political comedies before, but this is a really hilarious one. If you guys have not really seen Head of State yet, especially with the political climate we're in right now and all that, definitely go check out Head of State. It's a really hilarious one. And who doesn't love Bernie Mac? I mean, R.I.P. man. Alright. Number 6, I'm going to go with another film that Chris Rock lent his voice to, and that is Madagascar. Of course, here he voices the role of Marty the zebra. You got Ben Stiller, who voices Alex the giraffe. You got Jada Pinkett Smith, who voices a hippo in this. You got David Schwimmer, who of course voices like a giraffe in this one. It is from DreamWorks Animation, so there's that. You've got Sacha Baron Cohen, a.k.a. Borat, voicing King Julian, who's really hilarious. I mean, Madagascar is hands down probably one of my favorite, maybe my second favorite DreamWorks animation film, right behind Shrek. It's a really fun, cute, charming film. You're gonna have the song "I Like to Move It" in your head a couple times. But man, Chris Rock voicing a zebra is really hilarious to watch. I mean, Chris Rock does some really, he's voiced some pretty solid characters before. Of course, remember he voiced the role of Ronnie in the Eddie Murphy film Dr. Dolittle, so there's that. But that aside, yeah, if you guys have, never really seen the Madagascar movies, there's only 3 of them. They're pretty solid, and yeah, some really good voice work right here. Alright. Number 5, I'm going to go with Lethal Weapon 4. Now, Chris Rock, I mean, I love Chris Rock in this film. Chris Rock's character is it's different. You got Butters, Buckles, Biscuit, but it doesn't really matter what his name is. And pretty much Chris Rock's character, of course, ends up teaming with Murtaugh and Riggs. And I gotta say, I always quite like Chris Rock in Lethal Weapon 4. He played his character really well. His on-screen chemistry with Mel Gibson and Danny Glover's characters were pretty fun to watch. He also had some other pretty cool additions, like Jet Li appear in this, Joe Pesci. I mean, the dentist scene, I always cracked me up. Alright. Now, Lethal Weapon 4, by the way, it's probably not as the best as the other Lethal Weapon franchise, but I still always got a kick out of the fourth one. Alright, number 4, I'm going to go with New Jack City. Of Of course, this stars and was directed by Mario Van Peebles. In it, you got Chris Rock, who portrays a character named Pookie Benny Robinson, who is the former stick-up kid who ends up going to rehab after the NYPD detective Scotty Appleton, played by Ice-T, ends up noticing Pookie's addicted to crack. So you pretty much got Chris Rock playing a crackhead in this. You also got some other cool cast members, like Wesley Snipes was in this. And I really always, Chris Rock, I mean, it shows that, I guess you could say this is actually one of the movies that really put Chris Rock on the map. I gotta remember, I think this might have been his first feature film. Or he probably done something else before, I can't remember. But this was one of his earliest roles, and who would expect that his earliest roles won't be a comedy? That's what, Chris Rock, when you think of Chris Rock, you think of straight up comedy. The guy shows that he could do drama really well, and I thought Chris Rock was terrific in this. He played his character really well. Despite it being a drama, he did have some funny one-liners in this. I mean, Chris Rock and Ice-T both really had some cool chemistry with one another. I mean, if you guys never really seen New Jack City yet, go check it out. It's one of my favorite crime movies of the 90s. It's a really good one. And Chris Rock portraying a crackhead. That's always been a cool casting right there. Alright. Number 3, I'm going to go with the Kevin Smith film, Dogma. Now, yeah, Dogma is hilarious. You got Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes returning once again, as Silent Bob as well as Jay. You also got the likes of Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, who plays like the two fallen angels in this. You got Chris Rock, who portrays the character of Rufus, who's the 13th officer, and Rufus ends up appearing with both Jay and Silent Bob here to assist Linda Ferrantino's Bethany character, and she is like tasked with stopping Barnaby and Loki, the two fallen angels played by Affleck and Damon, from re-entering heaven and all. You got Alanis Morissette, who portrays God herself in this. I mean, Dogma, it's not really my favorite Smith film or anything, because that, of course, goes to Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I always enjoyed Dogma. It's hilarious. I mean, whoever thought that a comic about heaven and stuff like that could work out really well, Kevin Smith made it work out well. And Chris Rock portraying a character named Rufus. Chris Rock still loads of scenes in this. He also worked with Kevin Smith again in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. So he's worked with Kevin Smith a couple of other times. But yeah, Chris Rock was hilarious in this one. Also, you had George Carlin was also in this. Al Rickman. If you guys never really seen Dogma, definitely give that one a shot. Kevin Smith needs to do it and follow to that. Alright, coming in at number 2, I'm going to go with Chris Rock's other directorial film, Top 5. Now, in this, it stars Chris Rock, who plays this stand-up comedian named Andre Allen, who is a who ends up hit the big time as the star of a trilogy of action comedies about a talking bear and all. And Andre ends up being forced to spend the day with Chelsea, played by Rosario Dawson, who is a profile writer of the New York Times, who's a film critic, had pretty much penned Andre's passion project and all. And Andre wants to get back in touch with his comedy roots. And you had some really good cast members in this. You had the likes of Gabrielle Union was in this. Kevin Hart appeared in this film. You had Adam Sandler, Jerry Seinfeld appear in this. Micah Che. You also had Cedric the Entertainer. You had some really awesome cast members in this. I mean, boy, you even had DMX in this shoot. There's that as well. But man, Chris Rock put together one heck of a cast. Like, not everyone had much screen time, but they mostly include cameos and all. But the cameos were pretty cool to watch. The movie's hilarious. It has a lot of heart to it. It is a movie about stand-up comedy, but it has more dramatic tensions than you expect. Chris Rock shows that he could direct really well. I know his direction was really cool. His on-screen chemistry with Rosario Dawson was decent. If you guys has never really seen Top 5 yet, definitely give it a shot. Top 5 is a really hilarious one. And sadly, it doesn't get talked about as much, but it's a really good one. All right, number one, I'm gonna go with CB4. Of course, this stars Chris Rock, who plays who pretty much plays this wannabe rapper named Albert, and you got these rappers named Albert, played by Rock, Urbanus, played by Alan Payne, and Otis, played by DZD, who ends up getting their big break when like this nightclub owner named Gustav, played by the late great Charlie Murphy, ends up being arrested. So Albert ends up assuming that his like name and the criminal past becomes MC Gusto, and the trio ends up rising from fame and becomes pretty much they pretty much pretend to be and they pretty much pretend to be like fellas and all. CB4, I guess you could say this is actually the movie that really put Chris Rock on the map, because it was like his first actual lead role. But Chris Rock as a rapper, who could really buy that? But he really played this role well. Probably one of his best roles in my opinion. His role in this is hilarious. His on-screen chemistry with the other leads were pretty cool. I mean, you got some pretty cool rap-based films in the 90s. Whether you're talking about House Party, CB4 is a terrific one. If you guys have not really seen this one, it's a really decent film. Has some really cool rap music in it. Although I would love to see a sequel. It would be cool seeing where the Albert character has been through all these years. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool seeing some sort of sequel to CB4. All right. That's pretty much it. Let me do the quick run now. 10, The Longest Yard. 9, Osmosis Jones. 8, Grown Ups. 7, Heads of State. 6, Madagascar. 5, Lethal Weapon 4. 4, New Jack City. 3, Dogma. 2, Top 5. And number 1, CB4. Now there's also other films that Chris Rock has been in that I probably could have added as well. I still cannot wait to see him in the upcoming Saw movie. I mean, when you think of Chris Rock, you don't think of Saw. Like, Saw would be the last thing you think of. But anyway, other films he has like Down to Earth, I Think I Love My Wife, had Kerry Washington in this, who's always great. He also directed Good Hair, Nurse Betty, Death at a Funeral with Martin Lawrence is a pretty good one. The aforementioned Dr. Dolittle, Bad Company, 2 Days in New York with Julie Delpy, Pootie Tang, who remember that one? Beverly Hills Ninja with the late great Chris Farley. Speaking of Eddie Murphy, he was in Boomerang, B Movie, The Week Of, also with Sandler. He was in Jay and Silent Bob, I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. He was in Beverly Hills Cop 2, You Don't Mess with Zohan, Dolomite Is My Name, AI, Paparazzi, Tyler Perry's Nobody's Fool. He spent some really solid stuff over the decade. Anyway, let me leave it to you guys. What are some of your favorite Chris Rock films? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This is C-Mood signing off.